Alright, I think we're live. Just gonna see if I can bring up the stream over here on my tablet, my phone. Yeah, I think we're live. Guys, welcome to the Crow Bros first stream. You're probably wondering why we're calling the stream the Crow Bros stream. Well, I am intending on having a friend come on here quite regularly. Not tonight or today, depending on what time zone you're in, but at some point. So I'm going to be taking the first few solo, basically. Just make sure we can actually hear. Yeah, okay, so audio sounds okay. Fantastic. Yeah, welcome guys. What's going on? Hope everyone's doing okay there. So look, you probably remember me, some of you probably remember me from doing the main city streams. I'm probably going to get a few main city fellas on here. Some of you might remember me from just back in the Crow days. I've been making a bit of Crow content recently, talking about CRO, the ecosystem, and yeah, I'm essentially back in action. I just had a bit of a time off the last 3 weeks really, because I just had a kid. So I've taken a bit of time just to basically get back into it. But I am, yeah, essentially looking to commit to a few weekly streams. And within those streams, we are going to be talking about the Kronos ecosystem, crypto.com, hot news, things that are going on, anything essentially related to Kronos, things that I see important or maybe sort of important reasons for you to, I guess, just be holding onto your bags maybe for a little bit longer. You know, there's a lot of indecision and there's a lot of split bias in the market at the moment, and rightfully so. You know, it's been a bit of a shitstorm of a year, and it currently is, especially for Bitcoin. You know, we are essentially, I think, down the last 365 days now with Bitcoin alone. So, yeah, folks, we're going to be going through basically a bit of technical analysis on CRO. We're going to be looking at Bitcoin, a bit more of like the macro picture as well. And yeah, eventually we're going to be doing a bit of live trading and showing how you guys can basically maximize through just doing a bit of trading. So I really kind of want to help target, you know, not just intermediates, advanced, but also beginners. Like, how can you get into making money from this bull cycle? Because quite frankly, holding spot bags is fine, but in the end, when we're in a bull cycle or a bear cycle, you can still make money from conservatively trading the market up or down. It is possible. You know, no matter what people are telling you, it's possible to not only make money from CRO or Bitcoin or other altcoins from just holding spot bags, but you can be trading them as well. Everyone's going to try and tell you that they've got their own best strategy, or that you should never trade, or you should only trade. I'm here to tell you that there can be winners on all fronts, and it's just about educating yourself and learning how to do it. But, you know, trading is just basically not knowing how to trade in crypto is basically just not knowing how to drive like a manual car. Sure, you can just go ahead and drive an automatic and kind of maybe still get the job done, still have a bit of fun. But let's just be honest for a second. You're not really a real man unless you learn how to drive that stick, unless you learn how to drive that manual. So, you know, that's what I think about it anyway. So, now the first thing I want to draw some attention to here is just talking about CRO token specifically and how CRO token is going in the greater context of altcoins, I guess, in the top 50, assuming we are still, yeah, ranked number 39 for Kronos here. Currently sitting at just over 10 cents, okay? Now, I just want to show you something here, okay? Because I go on crypto Twitter a lot, and I often see a lot of posts, a lot of, influencers talking about CRO token and saying, what's going on with Crow? Chris, Marslake, fix the price of Crow. Complaining about Crow. Folks, don't complain about Crow. Learn how to trade the markets. Learn how to trade Crow and just have some freaking conviction in your spot bags. Because crypto.com is arguably one of the most bullish projects within the top 50 and most undervalued, in my opinion, right now, based on everything they have fundamentally going on, right? Crypto.com, in my opinion, is going to explode, whether it's at the end of this year in 2025, whether it's early 2026, it's going to happen. All right. CRO token, I do fully believe is the token to hold. I am a holder, and for good reason. All right. So I just want to show you something because people complain about this a lot. But if we actually go into Chronos right now, okay, just bear with me, all right, and drop a like on this stream and a comment if you're enjoying it, because here I'm just bringing you the raw, unbiased, data-driven information about CRO token. I'm an OG Crow content creator. I've been creating my first Crow content video like 7 years ago, guys. I've been in this space for a little while. Okay, so let's just have a look. All right, let's go down and have a look. So if we just go down and have a look, okay. So for the last year, obviously we've lost a lot more value, okay, in compared to where we were before that massive price drop. We're down 46. What are we? 46% for the year on CRO token. But if we actually go back, right, let's go back and compare to some other altcoins that are sort of surrounding CRO token. All right, CRO token, I think. Where were we? 39? No, 38. Yeah, so we're sitting at 38. All right, let's go ahead and have a bit of a look at Uniswap, for example. All right, let's see how much Uniswap is down. About 42% as well. All right. I actually did this like 2 weeks ago, and it was like way easier to give examples because there were some projects that were doing so much worse than CRO. But CRO, what's that? A PayPal USD. Okay, we've got PayPal USD in there now too. Let's go and have a look at Polkadot. See that's another example there, right? Polkadot's down like 72% for the year. 72%. That's pretty crazy, yeah. All right. So look, all I'm trying to say is CRO token based on a lot of these other altcoins in that top 50 is doing pretty well. Okay. Like before we had that big recent crash, it was doing all right. Like we were hanging in there. All right. So let's go over and check out this crypto.com sports. So maybe some of y'all haven't seen what this is, but this is a fantastic step in the right direction for CRO. I personally think that their banner should be something to do maybe with the UFC. I mean, I guess it appeals to Americans. Americans like their NFL. I get it, but you know, whatever. Not huge on the following. You know, this has only just come out, November 2024. So got to give them some grace. It's just this month. 1,636 followers. Okay, but let's take a bit of a look at what it is. Okay, so essentially it's a predictions market, and it's not just for sports. So this is a great step in the right direction. Let's have a bit of a look. So this is actually the web.crypto.com explore predict sports section here. You can actually sign up, you can create an account, and we've got things like football, basketball, hockey, golf, soccer, motorsports. So if we take like football just as an example here, okay, you can actually, the same way as you can do it with Polymarket, you can actually go ahead and essentially make bets, okay, on what you think is going to happen. And I think this is a fantastic thing that CRO are doing. It's definitely a massive step in the right direction because it's going to be some fantastic natural marketing, all right? They're going to be bringing a lot more eyes towards the Chronos ecosystem by having this here, especially newbies, okay? They're going to get newbies in, they're going to be buying Crow, and you already know, even if they don't really have it yet, because I've really only started just looking into this crypto sports stuff like recently, right? So even if they don't have it yet, right, they're going to be weaving in nice little incentives on how to basically get people to buy Crow, stake Crow, lock it up. Oh, have you heard of the card? Have you heard of this? So the Crow marketing, you already know, like it is just, it's on point. And this is arguably one of the best things that they have done recently. You know, obviously we had Trump Media, we had Chris Marsalek talking, he mentioned a little bit, he was questioned about the IPO, we had that, okay. And yeah, this is just the next best thing. So again, this is just the same as what Polymarket have got, okay. Party to control the US Senate in 2026. Is it going to be Republican or Democrat, right? You've got all the odds here. So this is essentially like crypto.com's version of Polymarket, which is really, really cool. All right, I think that's freaking awesome, to be honest. Okay, but yeah, guys, let me know what you think about crypto.com sport. But I personally think that this is definitely a good step in the right direction for crypto.com for sure. And if you're jumping in the comments and you're enjoying this stream, don't forget to jump in and say hi. Let me know what's going on. Okay. So we'll move on to the next point. Let's have a bit of a look here. What else we got going on? Right, so aside from this, we've got got some more big, heavy-hitting news from CRO, guys. We got some great stuff going on from CRO, and this little piece of information here was the partnership with SWE. All right, and this is a really good one because, again, it just brings a lot more exposure, if for nothing else. SWE is a big ecosystem. It's a big blockchain. They've got a lot of cool stuff going on. And if for nothing else, the fact that they are partnering with SWE, this is huge. Okay, so this was from November 10th, 2025. It's a strategic partnership with SWE Foundation. All right, let's have a bit of a look at what else they got going on here. All right, so essentially, guys, in terms of the actual partnership, okay, they are providing a foundation and ecosystem with secure institutional grade custody and liquidity solutions for SWE's native token. So the fact that SWE have gone ahead and decided to partner with CRO on this is big. All right, this is big. This is big that SWE have done this. Okay, it's massive. It's not. It's not a joke that Donald Trump's digital media have gone ahead and done this partnership. Like, people see and they turn to CRO and they look at the institutional grade security and the relentlessness to just keep getting better and keep doing all the boring shit and just keep improving. All right, Crypto.com are doing the boring stuff over and over and over again, but I'm telling you, all right, it is working, it is working, it is working. Let's have a bit of a look at what else this says. As part of this collaboration, institutions and individuals using CRO can now store and manage SWE tokens, okay, benefiting from regulated custody infrastructure. That's the key there, right here. Regulated custody infrastructure, okay, that features cold storage and enhanced security, transparent audit trails, and streamlined compliance processes. All right, so this is a big deal because, again, this is what Crypto.com, Chris Marszalek have been aggressively working towards. They've been setting this up over the years. I mean, how boring but effective has it been? They are set. That's why I keep saying, they're setting up the infrastructure for the ongoing and continued success. This is not just another rug pull. It's not just another project. CRO continually are heading in the right direction, and they're turning heads. And when you get a network like SWE turn around and say, yeah, we want to use Crypto.com for this, that's a big deal. I mean, SWE is essentially your leveraged bet on Sol. It's like, if people want a bit more higher return than Ethereum, but still keeping the risk low, then they go for Sol. All right. Same deal. If they want a bit more high risk, higher return, but in the same realm of Sol in the form of blockchain, but they feel like Sol's not enough returns for them, then SWE is the next one in line. They go for SWE. All right. That's just a fact. Okay. Ethereum, Sol, and SWE. They're the heavy hitters. Okay. So the fact that SWE has done this, all right, is a big deal for Crypto.com. Don't underestimate how much of a big deal this is. Okay. Moving on. Right, let's go over and have a look. So what else do we have here? So the next little piece is the Crypto.com and its CFTC margin. Sorry, a bit late for me here, guys. And look, I just had you got to apologise. You got to give me some grace if I'm struggling a bit on the stream because I've been dying to get on stream to talk to you guys for a while. But I'll be real, I've been pretty damn sleep deprived. I'm feeling it. I have barely been sleeping with the newborn. Plus, obviously, dealing with the toddler and stuff as well. But hey, having kids is a privilege, but it's still hard work. All right. So what's all this about? All right. So this is something that came around on September 26, 2025. All right. So Crypto.com today announced that it has received approval from the US Commodity Futures Trading Commission for derivatives licenses in the United States for margined derivatives. Okay. So essentially, guys, the full stack of CFTC approved derivatives licenses allows Crypto.com to seamlessly provide clients with the most comprehensive and integrated derivatives experience alongside Crypto.com's additional product offerings, including spot markets, prediction markets, stocks, qualified custody, credit, and debit cards. Okay, so pretty big deal here as well. Okay, again, just paving the way. Okay, paving the way with this new line of licensing that has come through this year. Okay, so aside from that, okay, yeah, This is some more info on the Verified X partners with Crypto.com for institutional grade custody and liquidity solutions. Okay, so this is the recent one with VFX Network. Okay, one that they had going with VFX Network set up here. Okay, so pretty interesting partnership, guys. This is actually pretty recent, November 20th, so just a few days ago. Really big deal right here. All right, so what's it all about, guys? Let's have a little bit of a look here. Crypto.com and the Verified X, aka VFX Network, the People's Network, and a global leader in self-custody and Web3 wallet infrastructure, today announced that the Crypto.com will provide Verified X institutional-grade custody and liquidity support for 1.5 billion in assets, as well as OTC trading capability. So this is massive. This is massive because, again, it's another great partnership. It's another great incentive for people to turn their heads and look at what CRO's doing. And essentially, it is putting CRO in high demand by these institutional grade companies. So can you see what's happening now, right? A lot of these companies, SWE, Verified X, all right, for God's sake, Trump's companies, the President of the United States company, right, Trump Media, looking at CRO and going, okay, they look like the most trusted and secure blockchain project in the system. I want to trust them with my security. I want to trust them with my cold storage. This is not a joke. This is serious. And this, again, is just another reason why CRO is going to the moon end of this year. You know, I'm not just here to just say it's going to the moon for no reason. Like, there are reasons why this is happening. All right. And it's a great thing to see. It really is. So what does it actually mean? Crypto.com custody is specifically designed with expectations of institutional grade clients. Now, it can get those institutional grade clients because of the investment and the work they've done to build that security infrastructure. Okay. We're pleased to be selected by Verified X, a leader in self-custody and digital asset wallet capabilities, to further enhance an established custody offering for all their clients' needs. All right. So, as the People's Network, the mission is clear: to make custody seamless, secure, and globally accessible. This is straight from Verified X, by the way. Partnering with CRO significantly elevates that very ethos with best-in-class custody, so best security, in other words, and liquidity infrastructure, so deep liquidity pools, all right, and that was directly from the Verified X Foundation, all right. They want to incorporate regulated custody and OTC trading capabilities to do this. All right. So again, massive deal, fantastic news. All right, absolutely fantastic. Okay, let's have a look. So of course, this is the latest initiative between CRO and Verified X, right? Following their initial partnership to integrate Crypto.com Pay, Crypto.com's payment solution and on-ramp services directly into Verified X's Switchblade wallets to deliver a seamless, secure, and scalable experience for everyday users and developers alike. Okay, so they already had like a little something going on here, already had Crypto.com Pay integrated. All right, so really cool to see that there. All right, cool. All right, guys, so appreciate y'all being here. Drop a like on the stream if you enjoy it. And we're just going to give it a moment, and then I think we're going to move on to some TA for CRO token. All right, we're going to have a look at what's going on here with CRO. And we'll take it from there. Let's have a bit of a look what's going on here. Because, yeah, the market's heating up, guys. There are definitely some potential trades in play here, I would say. What's going on there? All right. All right. Alright, so what's the CRO token doing from a technical standpoint, guys? What are they doing from a technical standpoint? Alright. For those of you that just joined, We've been covering a bit of CRO news. We're going to jump on the charts and just have a look exactly what's going on with CRO. Okay, so we're using the pivot points, that's the orange lines here. We're using the Fibonacci retracement at the moment. So kind of like the zones, the lines where you would essentially look to potentially buy. And we're using the EMAs, okay, being the 20, the 50, the 100, and the 200 EMA. So I'm going to be looking at all the different time frames and just giving you an unbiased take on where I think CRO token is right now from a trading point of view. Now, folks, I do have a channel partner, the only exchange channel partner, and that is BitUnix, guys. And I am doing a 1,000 CRO weekly giveaway every single week. All you need to do to enter is basically just get signed up and deposit some cash, at least deposit some cash and start trading. You don't even have to get the bonus necessarily, but if you deposit $200, all right, you will get a $40 extra trading bonus, basically just free money to trade with, okay? I'm going to be educating you guys how to trade basic leverage on here, how to trade CRO, how to trade Bitcoin, just using some really basic leverage just to get your understanding of how to maximize on that potential, okay, of this upcoming bull cycle. So again, guys, the link for BitUnix, it's pinned in the chat there, and it's also at the very top of the description of this stream as well. Go ahead and get signed up with BitUnix, and I'm going to be coming on here regularly, taking you through some trades, showing you about the TA, and just giving you the unbiased review on CRO and just altcoins and the macro of BTC as well, and what's going on. So let's go ahead and take a look at CRO right now. So the first thing I really want to do is just always just come out and start with maybe at least the weekly chart so we can get a bit of an idea of what's going on. Obviously, we are like in a very much downturn on the weekly, okay? According to the pivot points here, our next support level, which was pretty accurate in corresponding with Monday the 6th dump, okay, down to a price of about 6 cents. Do I think that we're going to return to the 6-cent level for CRO token? I don't think so. I think we've come pretty close to bottoming. All right, but really what we're kind of looking to do here is to start reclaiming some kind of EMAs on the weekly chart here. So we are very much in a bearish downtrend on the weekly here, okay? We are very much on a bearish downtrend, but what I would say is we do have a potential double bottom structure coming in here if we should reach around 7 cents, okay? So if we do reach around 7 cents for CRO, because we did have a 7-cent level here on Monday the 30th of June going all the way back there, then we may see a very aggressive bounce. As we can see here, we really are not that far off, you know, in terms of, yeah, 21%. I mean, it is a little bit, you know, I don't think we're going to get there personally, okay? We've zoomed out quite a bit on that weekly, okay? So very, very bearish on the weekly. Clear downtrend, all right? You can't really doubt that. Now let's come out to the daily. So today's been pretty good, and as you can see, there's been some major stuff that's been going on right here on this daily. Okay, so of course we are in a downtrend. Okay, we have been in a very clear downtrend from Thursday, the 28th of August. Okay, we had this pump up. Okay, with the Trump media to around 38 cents. That's where everyone was like, "Whoa, yes, CRO, I got to buy that shit." Even I jumped in and bought a lot. And guys, if you're enjoying the CRO TA, the stream, the news, make sure you smash that like button and say hey in the comments, guys. And subscribe if you want the unfiltered, raw, no BS approach on CRO token. I'm going to be showing you how to trade CRO, where I think the buys are, whether you're long, short, medium, or just a hodler. Okay, so absolute beginner to intermediate advanced, this is the place for you. Okay, I'm bringing it to you raw. I'm not just saying what every other influencer is saying. Okay, I'm giving you the raw driven data. Okay, so as we said, all right, from Thursday the 28th of August, we've been in a clear downtrend. Okay, if we actually just draw that out from the peak, the peak of the Trump mania, okay, to today's price, we're looking at a freaking 71% drop, baby. 71% drop over 87 days. Okay, so pretty astonishing. You know, it's been hit hard. But this is not what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh my god, CRO is such a shitty token and blah blah blah. Dude, it's an altcoin. Okay, we're not in an alt season right now. I think it's coming, but we're not in it right now. CRO is an altcoin. It's going to hit hard. Bitcoin dominance is dropping, and I think that's potentially why we're seeing a bit more of an upwards move in CRO token. Okay, so we have been clearly in a downtrend this whole time. Okay, that's the liquidation event that we had there. Pretty sure it must have been that there. Okay, on Friday, 10th of October. Yeah, that was a bad time. That was a really, really bad time. Okay, but, you know, I think this is a pretty interesting day that I've picked to do this stream because the thing is, Bitcoin right now is hovering at a pretty good level. We are actually breaking. We're breaking 87,000 and we're looking to close pretty nicely here. So of course, altcoin markets are going to be driven by Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is looking all right. But we're going to touch on that in a second. Okay, right, we're going to touch on that in a second. But really, actually, let's touch on that right now. I'm going to only just show you one chart on the 4 hour that's really important, and then we're going to revert back. Okay, we're going to revert back to CRO chart. I'm going to show you why this is really important. So have a look here, guys. We're on the 4 hour chart for Bitcoin right now, and if you notice, right, let me show you. Focus on this red line right here. Okay, this is the 20 EMA. All right, so this is the average price of the last 20 last 20 sets of 4 hours, basically. Okay, so each of these candles is 4 hours in duration. Okay, so if we go back all the way to basically here, I think we had the first test around here. All right, let's have a look. Have a look here. Wednesday the 12th of November. Broke through on the green, got rejected hard all the way down to around 100,000. Okay. Again, we made another attempt to break out, but again, we got rejected from that line and we dumped really, really hard. We didn't touch that EMA. Look at this. Didn't touch that EMA again for a long time. See this? How we're trading well and truly underneath this red line. This is the red line that Bitcoin has to overcome. It has to break through and then confirm. All right, so minimum 2 candles, which I believe it's done today. Okay, look at this again. I'm just giving you the examples. All right, from the last week. Monday the 17th of November, touched it here at 96,000. We got rejected hard all the way down to 89,000, and it started to cripple again, coming up for a retest here on Tuesday the 18th. All right, then rejected hard. All right, back to 88,000, come back up for a retest to 92,000. And then we rejected hard all the way down to freaking 80,000 before we've slowly been from the 21st of November clawing our way back over this support level 2 on the pivot point here, which was 83,697. Managed to close above this, and have a look here. This is today, right? Touch 1, rejected, but we didn't give up. We had force, we had momentum, and this right here, folks, this right here, in theory, that's our breakout candle, but that doesn't mean that the trend is potentially reversed. Not at all. All right. We still have got 3 hours right here. Have a look. We got 3 hours and 18 minutes, okay, where this has to close above 86,456. All right. If we don't close above 86,456 in 3 hours and 17 minutes, then it's looking more and more likely that Bitcoin might very quickly revisit and test 83,000 from its current price of 87,000. All right. But if we do manage to close, say here, 3 hours goes by, say we close at 87,341, then the next major target is going to be the S1 support level. All right. Based on the pivot points here, which is sitting at about 88,000. If we can then break that with the same principle, all right, the next big one is going to be the 50 EMA right there at 89,000. Okay, now if we can break 89,000, then we're looking at the fib retracement level potentially at 0.382, which is going to be at a price of 90,830. All right, now we're just going to take that off and swap that around. I'm going to, because the retracement is basically where to buy in on the fib. But TradingView is really great. It'll give you the auto fib from where to buy in and where the take profit zones are, so you can get an idea. And they have been strikingly accurate since I've been using them. So we do auto fib extension. All right, so I'm not going to overcomplicate it for you. All right, what it essentially is trying to indicate here is that when we reach this price here, this next blue line, which is going to be the 0.786 fib level on the extension, 87,920, that's a heavy take profit zone. So what you're going to see, what you're going to see is price, there's a very high chance that price bounces. So if I'm going to open a trade here, which I wouldn't, by the way, but say we got into Bitcoin here, right, at 87,313, I'd be looking to set my take profit probably just a little below 87,784. Okay. So Bitcoin right now is what we need to look at on the macro picture. It's not doing too bad. All right, and that is going to be affecting CRO token. All right, so if we go ahead and have a look at CRO token here, it's just hit a rejection. Look at this. Remember we were talking about this? Let's take this off. Let's put on our extension. All right, have a look at this, guys. So notice here, sorry, I had the wrong one on there. I thought the extension was already on. So again, have a look. This is the daily chart for CRO, right? Look at this. So we've tried to test 11 cents, just over 11 cents, and we've been rejected there. Okay, we've come back down to just under 11 cents. All right, so this is the next line to beat for CRO on the daily, okay? But really, right now, CRO could potentially drop down to as low as 6 cents. Okay, it could drop to as low as 6 cents. It is possible. I'm hoping for CRO that we can reclaim this crucial line here, which is going to be the first EMA, the short-term EMA, the 20 EMA. So on the daily chart, it would be the last 20 days of price action, this red line right here. Essentially, if we can get over 11.8, so if we can get up to 12 cents, right, that's the target, all right. 12 cents CRO is the target from here. So from here, today's candle, today's current exact price, all right, we'd be looking at an 8% move. 8% move, all right, to basically get over that EMA, all right. 12 cents, folks, is the target, all right. And then after 12 cents, if we can close above that level, then the next level to beat is going to be 13.9. So I'd say 14 cents to clear that. All right. So we're looking at 12 and 14 cents as the next key levels of resistance based on the EMAs, based on the EMA structures here. Okay, very important levels to beat. Now, folks, if you are enjoying the unbiased TA on CRO, the CRO news, please do smash the like button. And if you want to enter in to my 1,000 weekly CRO giveaway, all you have to do is sign up with the link in the pinned comments and at the top of the description of this stream. Go in there, get signed up with BitUnix, the only channel partner. Deposit $200 or more and get a 20% sign up bonus to trade with. All right, so if you deposit $200, that's $40 free money, folks, that you can trade with and make money trading easily on futures. And hey, guess what? If you don't know how to trade or use futures, it's really, really easy, and I can show you the low risk ways to do it if you subscribe and follow this stream. Okay, so it all makes sense. But yeah, even if you just want to jump in, enter the competition, right, that's how you got to do it. So how would I be looking at this basically if I am someone, let's start off with a hodler. Let's say you're a CRO hodler, you don't care too much for trading, okay? You're just someone that's thinking to yourself, okay, Satoshi, you know, that all sounds good, but how do I know, is this a good time to be buying CROs? Maybe I've been waiting for an opportunity to buy, and maybe I've got $1,000 that I've been saving up for the last few months from work, and is this the real bottom in the market? Is this a good time to potentially buy in? It's a CRO. Now again, the first question always comes back to Bitcoin. And I personally feel like there is a really good chance that the script has flipped for Bitcoin and that we might be heading upwards past 90K from here. And again, I'm not just saying that talking out of my ass. I'm saying it because of this very specific data right here. We are currently looking at confirming a 4-hour candle close above the 20 EMA on the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin. If this candle closes green, all right, there is a higher probability that Bitcoin will reach 89,000 pretty soon. All right, that's just what the facts are saying based on the TA, and especially considering things like this. Over on Polymarket, we've got now a 69% chance that the Fed will cut rates in December. Okay, last couple of rate cuts, sure, they haven't done much, but the fact is, the Fed is dovish. Jerome Powell is dovish, and he's looking to cut rates. 67% for a 25 cut, and 2% for a 50 cut. So that's good. That's bullish. All right. So if we go back to CRO, if I'm a hodler, what am I thinking here? if I'm a hodler of CRO and I'm looking to DCA in, maybe a bigger amount, again, these videos are never financial advice. Always do your own research before investing. Crypto is super risky. You can lose it all, guys. So you got to be really careful. Okay, but quite frankly, this is a good time to DCA in and buy CRO. I mean, have a look at this dip, guys. Again, I'm going to trace this dip out for you again. Okay, from here, we're a 74% dip from the all-time high from this year. Okay, 74% down right there. Just showing it to you. Yeah. So this is a great buy if you're a long-term hodler, in my opinion. No questions asked right now. This is a good buy. It's a good time to buy. All right. If you're stacking it, which I am, you should be getting involved at these price levels. Now, what if we're looking to trade it though? All right. What if we're looking to trade it? Is this potentially a good entry? Well, the daily's shown some positive signs, but from a daily outlook, we're still quite a while behind. We're still in a bear market. Okay, so generally if you were trading the daily chart right here, you would potentially be looking at a failed test. All right, if you're going to be shorting CRO, you'd be looking at a failed test at this level here. Okay, so if on the daily CRO reached 11 cents and we were looking at getting rejected, that would be a good chance at actually shorting CRO. So for example, I'll just use this, go back here to Monday the 10th of November. All right, you would have been watching this chart here on the daily. Obviously, you would have been using the lower time frames, but if CRO token came up, all right, and you would have taken a short here, all right, you would have been looking at something like, even to today's price, you would have been looking at a 21% dip. A 21% dip over about 2 weeks. So this would have been a mega swing trade. All right, so you would have been looking at 5x leverage on a short. You would have been looking at 100% gain on this. So even if you just put $100, right, on that, you would have doubled your money. Right, you would have made a really nice little trade there. All right, that would have been a really nice 100% play right there. All right, you would have been doing some good things with that. Okay, so that's the daily. Okay, the daily, am I looking for a long here on the daily? I don't know. We got to go to the shorter time frames to really have a look. So let's have a look at CRO, which is looking absolutely fantastic on the 4-hour time frame. All right, so this is very much even looking better than BTC on the 4-hour, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. You can clearly see that this level here, the 9811 cent level, is providing a really clear, solid base of support. It's not ideal that we're seeing these like stab wicks coming down, 1, 2, 3, 4. That typically is, from a TA standpoint, a bit of a sign of weakness for that particular support level. But in this particular example, it didn't matter, because here, all right, at around 4 o'clock, we found some support, found some more, and then bang, we had this massive, beautiful, full-bodied, tall green candle, and we not only just absolutely obliterated the 20 EMA on the 4-hour chart, but we also went up and obliterated the 50 EMA, this orange line right here. However, as you can see, it was a fake out over the 50. It was a confirmed breakout. It was a breakout, closed on a breakout over the 20, but we faked out over the 50, which is fine because it was a huge run up, but we managed to close just below it. And then we had a couple of interesting weeks here. We had this one here where we stabbed through again, but again, it was a fake out. We had a big pump up, but we managed to close again just below. And then we had a real indecision candle right here. And then, but what was good is that we followed that up with another green candle, where typically, given how the general bearish market sentiment has been recently, typically you would have expected more of a drip and a rejection at this point there to the downside, but we didn't get it this time. We didn't get it. We actually broke through on this very next candle, and again, this one would be the breakout candle for CRO sitting here. Okay, this would be the breakout candle for CRO sitting at 10.811 at the moment. All right, so what does this mean? It means that you wouldn't want to be taking a trade here just yet if you're going long on CRO. You'd want to wait. If you're doing a swing trade on this, yeah, on the 4-hour, we'd want to be waiting 3 hours for this to close, and we'd want this to pretty much close ideally about where it is there. So see how this one, all right, this candle here, it hasn't closed a full body over this orange line. That's technically not even yet a breakthrough. It's testing. There's clearly some testing and a pressure being applied to this resistance level, okay? But we haven't broken through yet. So at the bare minimum, when I'm trading, what I want to see is I want to see that breakthrough, and that's what we're getting right here. But that's only the first candle. So then, again, if you're going for a swing trade on this, on a longer term swing trade, you want that breakthrough. So say that's closed there. Then we want another candle close after it. Ideally green again, but it doesn't have to be green. It can still be red, but it has to close above the orange line. All right, so this one closes here, and then we get another one that closes above the orange line as well. Okay, we won't know that until 7 hours time. But if we do get that second close, that's a confirmation candle of the breakout, and that is extremely powerful on the 4-hour chart. Okay, the higher the time frames go, the more powerful it is. Okay, the 15-minute chart is more powerful than the 10-minute. The 30 minutes more powerful than the 15. The 1 hour is more powerful than the 30. The 4 hours more powerful than the 1. The daily is more powerful than the 4 hour. The weekly is more powerful than the daily, right? The indications that you get. But the 4 hour is pretty powerful, okay? So that's what you need to keep in mind here, all right? So that's what we're looking at when we talk about the 4 hour right now on CRO token, okay? So guys, yeah, don't forget guys, $1,000 CRO giveaway every week. Get signed up and deposit $200 or more to get that $40 bonus on BitUnix and start trading on futures. That is in the chat there, the link to go ahead and get signed up, and it's also going to be in the description of this stream. All right, so let's keep going and taking a further look here, and we're going to scale it down to the 1 hour. All right, so how is CRO looking on the 1 hour? I'm going to tell you how it's looking. It's looking even better than the 4 hour. Now, the 1 hour chart for CRO is looking bullish. All right, we're looking good. So if you're looking just to trade this 1 hour, all right, this is great. We've got the EMAs curling up. All right, the 20, the 100, and the 50 all here. All right, 1, 2, and 3. We've got price action stacked underneath, and in fact, in the next 3 minutes and 26 seconds, we are about to close a breakout candle, a very strong breakout candle over the 200 moving average on the hour. Okay, so basically the last 200, so again, each of these candles is 1 hour. So this grey line is the average of the last 200 hours, basically. This grey line right here. So the fact that we are over this grey line right now is very, very bullish for CRO. But again, I wouldn't want to be taking a trade until we saw this one close here, which it will, in the next 2 minutes and 50 seconds. And then we want to see some continuation. We don't want to see this. All right, we don't want to see this right here. Actually, yeah, we don't want to see this. See this right here? We had breakout on this candle, but then we didn't confirm. All right, we didn't confirm. We came below and we closed underneath the grey line. Okay, and see, because of that happened, we closed under the grey line and we didn't have that continuation of that bullishness. Okay, but we're essentially trying to do this again. Okay, we had a good run up here. People started taking a lot of profit at this 0.23 auto fib extension level here. Okay, which is at 10.842, and then we kind of broke down from there. All right, that wasn't looking too bad there. All right, and then on the 15-minute chart, guys, before we wrap up the stream. Okay, 15-minute chart is also looking fantastic. We're actually well and truly over all the EMAs and facing a bit of resistance at the 0.5 fib extension zone here. But we are trying to make our way up to what the next support would be, the next resistance at 11.039 cents for CRO. All right. So guys, if you enjoyed the stream, please smash the like button. Let me know in the comments. Let me know if you have any trouble getting signed up to BitUnix, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next